So, Charles Darwin. He's a gentleman that we give credit to for figuring out how species are formed via mutation and adjustment to their environment. For instance, over years, in a cold climate, animals will develop thicker fur. Anyhow, the interesting thing to know about Mr. Darwin, as a young man, he was apparently very curious. He liked being outside and dealing with animals. Even from a young age, apparently, he was big into nature. But his father wanted him to study medicine. Charles wasn't interested or gifted in that area, though. Medicine was not something he would ever really take part in. Instead, he studied geology and religion, and he was well on his way to become a minister. It's suspected he would have settled in some small rural community and been minister there for many years, and he might have been very happy like that. However, he was offered a spot on the HMS Beagle, and the Beagle was going for a great adventure, and it was going to sail around the world. And it did. Darwin was not there so much as a scientist as he was a friend and companion for the captain. Someone for the captain to speak to make conversation. Well, it was an adventure. And what made it that much more interesting was the fact that Darwin became really seasick. It's thought that he was so seasick that he spent every possible moment that he could on dry land, conducting research and gathering specimens. His seasickness might have actually helped him collect all of his specimens. His seasickness might have been a positive thing in a way. Regardless of his accomplishments, as a young man, Darwin's father was very hard on him, and he wanted his son to become a physician, a doctor, and told his son what a failure he was, and how he was an embarrassment to the family. A rough situation. Well, even so, he sailed around the world on the HMS Beagle, studying geology, the earth, and rocks, and the rock formations, which was what Darwin loved. But as they went, he discovered how very different animals were. And it was in the Galapagos Islands where he took notice of finches, which were small birds, small birds, and depending on the island in the Galapagos, different islands had finches with different beats. And those beats depended on what the animal ate. A finch that ate insects had a beak designed for eating insects. A finch that ate hard nuts had a beak designed for eating hard nuts. And this struck him as a big deal. That these characteristics were designed or developed. Let's say developed. They were perfectly suited for where the animal lived and what it ate. Almost as if it was playing upon an advantage. Well, he surmised that that any creature that had an advantage for eating would have an increased advantage for surviving and an increased advantage for passing on its genes in the next generation. And this is where the theory of evolution came from. One thing to note is that the theory of evolution, as per Darwin, is a very slow process. It takes a very long time to happen. That is not necessarily true, but it is what Mr. Darwin thought. And we will talk about this later. Again, Charles Darwin, father of evolutionary theory. Thank you guys.